Yeah. So I feel like my diet has just been not great. How about you?
My diet's actually been on point. It's like the only thing that's going well for me right now.
Oh, really? What are you doing? What is your secret?
Okay, so there's two secrets.
Okay.
Kid snacks, which is portion control.
Okay, great. Portion
So
control.
portion control is key. I can have Cheez-Its. They just can only be in that little pack that go in my kid's lunchbox. And then I take them out with me and they are in the car and that's all I have. Otherwise I will crush a box.
That's so smart.
So
Yeah.
that's one of my tricks. And then the whole like don't eat past like, a certain time of night, 7:30.
That works for you?
Yeah, because then I just go to bed.
Cute.
Because this time of year makes me exhausted and it's freezing and dark and, night.
I was talking, so one of my best girlfriends, and she works in finance, and part of her job is going out 2, 3, 4 times a week, if not more, to, dinners. And not saying that men eat more, but she's a woman and she's got to, keep up with everybody. And I was like, how do you do it? Right? Because going into this, it stresses me out. And her tip was like, you really need to pick and choose when you're going to have these meals and look at your calendar and be like, all right, I know Friday night is going to be a big dinner. Like I might need to really cut it back for lunch. So.
And do you remember the nutritionist that we had on?
Yeah.
And she was great. And one of the tips that she gave was exactly that was, pick and choose. And if you're going to do fish, get 2 vegetables, not a carb if you're going to have a cocktail.
Right.
And the next day, reset it with the no carb.
Right.
So we can do it. It's just you add in the cold, the dark, the stress of the holidays, and the getting together and celebrating everything. It's so hard. But anywho.
Hey, everyone. On that note, I'm Amber.
And I'm Ryan.
And this is Art Beauty, the real truth
about the fake shit. Speaking of, where is your J-Lo cup? Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And, one more thing. We have a YouTube channel.
Yes. Yay.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, can you subscribe? Can you comment below? Can you tell Amber she looks cute today in this pink ensemble, which is AKA a tank top?
Thank you. It's Athleta. Yeah. It's a workout top.
It's cute though.
It's cute. It's got like this cute back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mine is.
What does end-to-end mean?
It's an underwear company out of LA. It's gay.
Okay.
They strategically have a way of putting all of your stuff together and in the front, almost like, like a push-up bra for girls.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Moving on. So yeah, I get the tank top and I like to support.
It's cute. By the way, just speaking of our YouTube channel, I do want to shout out, and I'm hoping I'm not butchering your name, Zara. I think Zara Zaki, who commented on one of our first videos and was like, we love you. Guess what? We love you back. Thank you so much for listening and for reaching out. It means so much to hear from you guys. And it's always nice to know and sort of get to meet the people that are listening. So thanks, girl. If you guys want to be shouted out, all you got to do is comment. Send us an email. We love you.
No, and it's a new platform for us. So we are also open. So, you don't need to be, if there's a suggestion, if there is, something you want to let us know that you would like to see more of or less of, feel free. It's not going to hurt our feelings. We truly want, we want you guys to let us know how we're doing and what you want more of.
Let's start a conversation, not a fire. On a personal note, I do want to share something because a couple weeks ago, you asked me about the holidays and I was like, oh, I'm not stressed. It's going great. And I wrote you, 2 nights ago, and I want to share with everybody. I don't know if you can see this because I had my hair blown out, but from the stress.
There it is.
I've developed alopecia areata, I think is the technical term.
Yes.
And it sucks. And we've had guests on before who have dealt with this, and it's something that I'm going to be looking more into. Of course, it's like when it happens to you, it feels so traumatic. But I'll keep you abreast. And you know what it is? We're just keeping it real. I mean, this stuff happens, and I think it's stress. I did make an appointment with a rheumatologist just to make sure that there's nothing autoimmune going on. I'm going to have that shot with a steroid from somebody. So we'll hope everything works out.
It all will work out. The last time I had a similar, but mine was in the back. And it sucked. It was when I moved, and I was, all the things with moving and just size of like a silver dollar gone.
Yeah.
And you know what? It stinks when you have dark hair and a very light scalp. It almost like, it's like neon. So, and hang in there, girl. Yours is in the front, but thank God you look good in a side part.
Yeah. And thank you. Thank you so much to Yamil from Dry Bar today. She did a hell of a blowout.
She hooked you up.
Super cute. And I was like, normally I do it in the center, but do it off to the side. Yeah. And if you're going through this, like, I'm going to try to bring on some more people to talk about this because look, we're sharing the good, the bad, the ugly, and I'll keep you abreast of how I handle this.
The real truth about the fake shit.
The real truth and the real shit too.
And the real shit too.
Okay, but going into today's show, we've got Radan from Liftonic, and you've heard me just sing the praises before. Just to be clear, I've asked him to come back. I pay for his gym. This is not sponsored. I've recruited people. This type of working out, it's lifting heavy, but it's not unlike high intensity where you're jumping around. And I find that I hurt myself. This is really about lifting heavier weights. And it has totally changed my life. And I'm excited to have him on so that he can help us with some tips about how we can get through the next couple weeks without totally going off the rails. Hello, Radan. Thank you so much for joining us. And I know that the holidays are like 2 days away. So thank you for taking the time to be with us.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
So you're Australian and your wife is she's from New Zealand, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving?
Yeah. Look, any excuse to have a break, right?
But do you do all the big, because you're also both very fit. Do you guys do all the food and all of that stuff and cooking and?
We do, yeah. Yeah, we do. We don't do the turkey because we don't eat a lot of meat, but
okay.
Besides that, we do. We cook, we entertain, we drink.
We're
humans.
We are humans, but you guys are especially fit humans. What do you cook?
I mean, for Thanksgiving, we'll probably do a cauliflower in the oven instead of a turkey.
Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then my wife is fascinated with this pasta dish with like lemon and cream.
Oh, yeah. I mean, who wouldn't be? That sounds delicious. Right. It's funny. So my family lives in Florida, and my husband's are in Philadelphia. So we split the vacations to go see them. So my parents actually flew here a couple weeks ago, early November, and I did like a little mini Thanksgiving with my brother, my sister, and his wife, and my parents. And one of the things that I made was cauliflower, because my sister-in-law is a vegetarian. So I made cauliflower with grated Parmesan cheese, roasted in the oven.
So good.
Amazing. Amazing. How about you, Ryan? Is there anything that you guys have like tradition-wise that you do?
So there is a famous white trash string bean casserole with crunchy onion topping. I have to have that. I don't know why.
I love it.
And yeah, like sweet potatoes with marshmallow frosting. Like I go like stovetop. Like I go classic, easy, cheap. I don't know. That's what I remember. I don't get me wrong. Like my mother's turning in her grave right now for sure, because she definitely did a lot from scratch and was amazing. But the things that she cut the corners on were my favorites.
I'm not a good cook. And one of the things, so my mother's from the South, that we called it ambrosia. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but it's Radan, you're about to die. It's Cool Whip and then canned fruit cocktail. And you drain the sauce out of the fruit cocktail. You pour it into the Cool Whip. You mix it up. You can throw nuts and like little mini marshmallows. My husband refuses to eat it, but it's such like I don't know. I had to make it this time around because it's something that I grew up with, and my mother absolutely loves it. So now that we've shared our deepest, darkest secrets, I did want to bring you on to talk a little bit about holiday fitness, because clearly Ryan and I are not doing the best job. But what are some tips? Because we're human, right? And so starting with Thanksgiving, and then it's going to be all of the Christmas parties in the office, like what can we do to not go off the deep end so that come January 1, we're like really in trouble?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. People look at it as such short-term approach to fitness and wellness that unless you play a long-term game, you'll never get to where you want to be and stay there. There's definitely little tricks and little hacks you can do to kind of make it a little bit easier for yourself the year round. And so that starts now in the holidays for January and then beyond. Not just January, but then January through to the summer. And then the summer people have travel plans and barbecues and drinking. So I feel like there's excuses year round not to work out.
Absolutely.
So I would say number one thing is consistency.
Okay.
Above all else, above of what kind of exercise or how long or how intense.
Right.
It's moving the body consistently. That's number one.
But when we have, because the holidays get busy, right? So I know with travel takes up time. And like I said, there's going to be all of these events. When you talk about consistency, what do we have a number? Is it like get there 3 times a week, 4 times a week?
I would say you want to move the body every day for at least 30 minutes.
Okay, fair enough. But that doesn't mean you have to get to the gym.
Exactly.
Okay.
No. And I think that's where people have a misconception is they believe that they have to go to a gym or take a workout class or do something super intense for it to count.
Right.
But if you do a half an hour of something every day, you don't have to, you don't have to do it as intensely. And I think that's easier for people to fit into a tight schedule. Let's say during the holidays when you have parties and engagements and things like that, you can still fit it in without pressuring yourself to have to do something that is too much. And, and to that I would add, if you do just a little bit through the holidays, even the tiniest amount sets you up for a better rest of the year.
Right.
So if you're used to going to the gym 5 times a week in the spring to look good in summer, don't feel like you have to do that in the fall. Just be realistic and say, listen, I have all these other things going on. It's okay. I'm going to drop it down to 2 to maintain what I have. And then come the spring, I'm going to pick it up again.
And now, what about like how quickly? I want to just digress a little bit because I have completed this LT60 program that we did through Liftonic. And one of the most eye-opening things was coming in and getting those daily weight measurements. And like I said, I noticed the weekend after this dinner with my parents,
you didn't scan, probably.
I know I did, and it was not great. But how quickly does muscle mass start to fall off when we are trying to like maintain fitness?
Well, I think if you're active, not that fast. If you're inactive, within 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're active, you can prevent that or slow it down substantially. And so that once again, you just don't want to go from working out a whole bunch to then doing nothing.
Right.
And
it probably helps to like find somebody to work out with you. So do you and your wife go on walks together? Do you exercise together?
No, we met 15 years ago and she used to go to the gym all the time. And then we met and she hasn't worked out since.
Really? She's just that lucky.
Yeah.
She's so fit. Okay. We
literally
hate her.
She used to do classes, go to the gym, met me, no more.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, she's active though. Like she bikes around town all through the winter.
Sure.
She's active, running after 2 kids now. So she moves the body, but as far as like structured exercise, like what I advocate, she's not into it.
So Radan, when you say stay moving, stay active, like you don't mean like go walk the dog.
No, I think you got to get your heart rate up a little bit more than that.
Okay, that's okay. Just checking, because that's kind of like really all I'm doing right now is
because when I see people walking their dog, they're on their phone, they're like having a cigarette. And I'm like, walking the dog is code for, all sorts of other behavior. It's not about walking the dog. It's about cruising. We know what walk. It's
all
like code,
the things.
Isn't it?
Yes,
all the things.
All the
exactly.
things.
Let's touch a little bit on drinking. So if you're lucky enough to be one of these people, Ryan, you don't drink.
No.
I've got a lot of friends who just don't drink. I, on the other hand, find that especially when it gets cold, I just want to come home and drink. I said it to my husband the other day. I'm like, I don't know why. I just feel like when it gets cold and after a day of work, I really just want to come home and drink. And he said, you and about half of the rest of the population, babe. But when we are going to these parties, are there tips for either types of ways that we should drink or things that we should do while we're drinking?
Well, from my experience, the drinking is one thing because it's additional calories that you probably wouldn't have gotten, but you also make way worse choices when you've had a few drinks.
Right.
And so, and this may not come across the right way, but I would advocate binge drinking to a certain degree.
Okay.
Because I'd rather you have a great time, drink what you want, eat what you want once a week, than have 2 to 3 drinks every night and then make the wrong food choices every day.
That makes sense, right?
So much sense.
Yeah, like go and
otherwise you're never really satisfied, and you're never really never really eating as well as you could. So make a distinction between the two.
It's funny you say that because I don't drink, so then I binge bad eating, but then I get back on the wagon and I get my sweet cream. I mean, Amber, you've seen me. I'm a Nazi, but when I'm off, I mean, there could be Swedish Fish gummy bears, M&Ms within reach of me right now.
Right.
And I think that's great because I think it comes down to personality trait. It's like you have to know who you are. You have to know how you behave, what your triggers are. And then, don't force yourself to change everything. Just understand it and then make the best of it.
And it's funny, all the bags are open and I've had a little bit from each bag and I'll put it away. Like I won't eat the whole thing.
That's pretty good.
It's so true. Well, Tom, my husband, will have 3 M&Ms. The man has self-control, unlike anything you'd ever believe. So then I end up eating the rest of them because you can't have a bag of open M&Ms in the house.
Totally his fault.
It's so his fault. But you do make a good point when you binge and when you have that full fat thing, it is way more satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially if you do it guilt-free.
Yes.
Right. So it's like once a week, just let it all go.
Yeah.
And now what about those of us who have, party after party after party after party?
He's talking about yourself there, Amber.
I'm actually not. I'm not that popular. And actually, I'm a real homebody, so I try to stay home as much as possible. But, I know that people who have office parties and then, it's like people with big families, there's things to do.
Yeah, it's constant.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say pick and choose,
Okay.
I think not every social interaction is going to give you as much as others.
Right.
So, if I were to do it, I'd be like, I have all these things coming up. These are the most important for me. I'm going to have a drink at this one. I'm not going to have a drink at these ones.
Right.
No matter how boring the people might be.
Right.
Or how annoying your relative might be at Thanksgiving.
But what about the work functions? Like, I know it's the holiday season and blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people that have to go out for work and the happy hour drinks and then the work dinners. What's your suggestion there?
Soda, water, and lime.
Okay. Looks like a cocktail, but it's not. And that's how I do it.
People will love you because you go to the bar all the time.
Yeah.
Buy them drinks and buy yourself a non-alcoholic drink. So they think you're a star.
And this is a good time to remind people, you do want to be, especially in this day and age, different times, you need to be really careful over-indulging in terms of alcohol at a work event. We've just got to say it. We all want to let loose and have a good time. And it is important to have that bonding time with your coworkers. But, different time, folks, be careful. I've been in 2 different companies where somebody's gotten fired from the Christmas party, surprisingly enough. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And one where somebody probably should have been fired, but definitely wasn't. Good times. We'll let that go. I did used to interview, though, the Victoria's Secret girls, and I'll never forget this. One of the things that they told me was when they would go out to a lot of these press events, they would get seltzer, as you were saying before, because everybody assumes if you have seltzer with a lime in it, that you're having a drink. And so people also won't be as pushy to push, oh, come on, what are you not drinking? Because we all know one of those people. And there's always one of those at the party who's trying to take you right down with them. But so yeah, it is a great tip.
My other secret is ginger ale in a champagne glass. It's not a lot of ginger ale because the champagne glass doesn't hold a lot of liquid. So, and it's that clutch. It's the clutch that you need, and it goes a long way.
And what about for those of us who are in cold climates? Like, what are some things that we can realistically be doing to kind of, move about and get that half hour of exercise in?
Yeah, it's trickier because I think, the best option for people is if it's outdoors because it's free and easy.
Yeah.
So no matter how you do it in a cold climate, it's going to probably cost you something.
Yeah.
But there's so many things on offer, whether it's, studios like mine that you can pop into and just buy one class at a time. So you don't have to commit to a long-term anything. You just do a class here or there, and you can pick and choose. Or you can find like recreational centers that have sports activities, swimming. It doesn't have to be just exercising for exercising's sake. It can be a sports or something like that also.
And by the way, did you redo your website? Because I recently went on your website. It looks so good, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Can we pop it up, Amber?
Yeah,
It looks so
we
good.
Very happy with how that came out.
It looks great.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I do want to point out, and Radan, I've asked you to come on. I go to Liftonic. I pay full price. This is not sponsored. I have been hounding you to come on because there is something about your secret sauce. And I've taken, look at these ladies here, by the way.
Wow.
I mean,
now that
those
is
are ladies
strong.
who lift. Ladies
who lift, and I
that.
love them. Hillary, we've got Veronica, very easy on the eyes, but very body positive. We've got Lauren there. I love this workout because I was actually talking to my husband about it last night. It's different than any other class I've ever taken. And I've brought friends, I've converted friends to be part of the Liftonic squad because there's something in your method about pushing people to lift stronger. And it's not just about the number on the scale. You're seeing results every week. You're feeling stronger. Can you share a little bit of your sort of philosophy on working out?
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, most of the success is due to the fact that for most people, especially women, they've come around to the idea that you don't need to be super skinny. The last decade has really been a huge shift in, that skinny model look is out, and having curves and being strong and having tone is in.
Yeah.
So we really are riding the wave of this new way of looking at what the body should look like. And it's a very individualistic thing. And so for us, we figured out that doing weights really is the key to building and toning muscle and changing your body shape, whereas anything that's mainly cardio-based will just shrink you.
Right.
Yeah.
So lift stronger, lift heavier. I
mean, and not to mention the mental challenges it takes to kind of push yourself to lift heavier.
Right.
I don't know how you feel when you come to class, but for me, there's moments during every class when I'm a participant where I have this thing, this little sound, this little voice in the back of my head, which is like, I don't know if I can do that. Right? Just before I pick up the 40-pounders to do a shoulder press. And then I pick it up and I do it. It's a real sense of achievement in that moment. And I think that is key.
I leave these classes, and when I started, especially with the legs and the squats, I had 2 5-pound dumbbells in each hand. And now I'm squatting with 2 30s. So
nice.
It's been incredible. And I want to share something personal with you because I think like most women, I've had a very unhealthy body image and relationship with food and exercise in my body. And some men, shouldn't just say women, but I always used to weigh myself. Every morning I would get on that scale, and that scale, which we know just from what you've eaten, what you've drank, can shift 4 or 5 pounds. But that number would dictate my day, how I felt about things, how I interacted with people. And since starting Liftonic, I don't weigh myself because I've become so much. I realized that this morning. I was like, wow, I haven't hopped on the scale, save for like the Liftonic weigh-ins, but I haven't hopped on the scale. It was able for me to break that habit because I feel stronger, and like I trust I'm less tied to that number and more of like my clothes fit.
Which is the way to go. And I mean, to add to that, the scales that we use, they tell you what your weight consists of.
Right.
Whereas most scales at home just give you the overall weight. So, knowing the numbers and the metrics isn't necessarily a bad thing as long as people have the accurate and numbers that actually matter, which is how much muscle you have, how much fat you have, and how hydrated you are. So if you can segment those out, then you have real numbers that actually mean something. And for a lot of people, focusing on a number actually helps them.
Right.
That number just can't be weight loss. It's got to be either muscle gain or fat loss.
And I definitely think it's a good, the scale can be very helpful for trends, but that every day I realized how
it's obsessive.
How obsessive that is, and also how unhealthy it is. So thank you for breaking me out of that. And I absolutely love Liftonic. I feel like if people are in New York, how is the best way that they can come and find you?
I would go to liftonic.com.
Okay.
And everything you can do there is just book through the site there. It's super simple.
Here we are. Yeah. And if people want to do these programs, your LT30, LT60, can you give a little bit of a high level overview of what that is?
Yeah, I mean, they're all similar in the sense that they keep you accountable. So they vary in how we run it, but the overarching theme of why it works is that you're accountable to one of the instructors.
Right.
So, for example, the LT60, you get a designated Liftonic coach that then works with you to set a 60-day goal and then sets a weekly target of classes to do, changes in your diet, together with the weekly scans that tell us exactly what's going on with your body. And then the program is adjusted from week to week to make sure you get to your goal in 60 days. And so the power in that is it's not a goal we set for you, you set it. We just help you get there.
And hopefully you stick to it.
Yeah. Totally.
I feel like I'm on the sidelines. So when do you think you possibly will expand? Because I'm telling you, this is such a franchise opportunity. And like, can we just get over to DC maybe?
I know. Can we get it done already?
Yeah.
Listen, every day I went and saw multiple locations in New York here for our second studio yesterday.
Okay.
So definitely looking to expand in New York in the next couple of months. But I do think people need to learn how to lift. East Side, yeah. People need to learn how to lift. That's a global thing.
Very much so.
We're certainly going to shoot for as many studios as we can get open. DC included.
Please.
Right under your apartment.
Yeah.
I would love that. I mean, I travel from the Upper East Side all the way. I mean, you might as well be in Mexico. It's so far for me to get there, but it works.
You make it. Yeah. You make it there.
And Ryan, when you're in New York, we have to get you into one of these classes. I'm calling you out. We got to get you there.
Oh yeah.
No, I was supposed to go.
Well, thank you, Radan, so much for
My
taking
pleasure.
the time, especially right before the holidays. And if you guys have any questions that you want me, I see Radan quite a bit. So you can always reach out to us at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. And of course, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Art Beauty Podcast.
And guys, we are going to see you next Tuesday.